I'm Boone. This is Boone's Slot Car Garage. And tonight we're going to be working in the corner off to the side of where we put our concrete wall. And this corner is where I put my tablet at. That's the management system for my track because of the digital system. Only problem is it doesn't quite look right. You know, it's kind of a brand new tablet sitting on scenery. Just doesn't look right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a billboard that we can slide our tablet into, and I think it'll look a lot better. So let's do this. Okay, so what we have is this corner over here, and this is where I put my tablet at. So my tablet sits right down in here, and that way I have a management system, right? But yeah, this is what we get when we order up the Arc Pro or one of the management systems, digital management systems for a Scalextric track. And these things work great if you don't have the protector on your tablet. And I got a protector, and I'm not going to take my protector off because I tend to drop stuff and I don't feel like replacing my tablet every other month. Probably not a good idea. So this little guy isn't going to work. So we'll put that off to the side. So we have our tablet. Now, two things. One is scenery of the track, tablet. Just don't look right. So what I was thinking is that we can get our tablet still here, but if we made it look like a billboard that would fit the theme of the scenery that's on the track, it'd look a lot cooler, right? So what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna go ahead and create a billboard that we can slide our tablets into, and that'd be pretty cool. So let's get started on this. All right, so since we're gonna be building this for a tablet and we're gonna be taking it in and out, we can't exactly be using balsa wood to do this because it's just not gonna be strong enough. So what we're gonna use is pine trim, or doweling and whatnot, because it's gonna be a lot stronger for us. So what I have is 3/8 square dowel, 1/4 inch square dowel, 1/4 inch round dowel, and 3/8 round dowel. And then right here, this is 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch, just kind of a flat trim. Okay, so it's just a flat trim, also out of pine. And last but not least, we have this angle or corner trim, and this is 1/2 inch and it's 90-degree corner trim. So now that we have that, let's start getting some stuff built. All right, so first thing, we need to go ahead and measure out our tablet, right? So if we put this across at our widest point, we're at 7¼ inches, which would be, we go for the metric, would be right about 18½ centimeters. So if we go our length is 13½ centimeters, or it would be 10 inches. So we're gonna be 7¼ by 10 inches. So I always like to write stuff down. So I'm just gonna go 7¼ by 10, and that helps. So we come back, let's go ahead and start laying out our structure for the back side of our billboard. So on the back side of this, we grab our 3/8 square dowel. What we're going to do is I'm gonna have this in the back at 12 inches long, okay? So what I need to do is cut out 4 of these at 12 inches. So we're gonna have it like 1, 2, 3, and 4 into the back. And so when we come back, I'll have these trimmed at 12 inches. Okay, so now we have our 4 uprights cut at 12 inches. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and take this 1/4 by 1/2 inch plank or doweling, and we're going to go ahead and cut 4 of them at 7¼ inches. Okay, so we'll have 4 of these cut at 7 1/4 when we come back. All right, so we went ahead and we've got our cross supports all cut, and I have 4 of those cut out. Now, after you cut them, they might be a little bit raggedy on the edge. Just go ahead and take a little bit of 80 grit and dress those up. So what we've done is I've just kind of put it down on the back side so you get kind of an idea what we're going after. So if we take this, let's get this out of the way, remove our tablet. We have our cross sections and our uprights. Now I've got one of these that has a little bit of gnarliness on it. I want to be able to see that. So let's just go ahead and make sure that's facing out. And let's double check everything here. Yeah, that looks good. So what we have are our cross supports, all right? So what we're going to do is go ahead and get these all matched up. Now, this is at 7 1/4, inches long. And what we need to do is find kind of a good split as far as our supports. So what I have done is measured in about 2 1/8 inches in on both sides, made a mark, and then put an X next to that mark so I know which side that I want my uprights on. And what I will do then is go ahead and measure down here so I'm all equal as far as where I want to be, okay? Now remember, our length is at 10 inches. So if we take this and we measure down to 10 inches, and this is the length of our tablet, we'll have that crossbar here, and then what we'll do is we'll find out what looks good as far as our pattern on the back. Now, once we have that all figured out, what we need to do now is go ahead and connect these together. And what I'm going to use is a little bit of super glue, and I'm going to use some 18 gauge 5/8 brads, or little nail brads, and I'll go ahead and super glue that and then nail this into it. And what I'm going to do is hit a little bit of a pilot hole so I don't split my wood when I do it, okay? So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this all marked. When we come back, we'll start getting it all put together. All right, so I have it all set down, and I have just a real small drill bit. I believe this is like a 5/8 drill bit. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and hit a little pilot hole down through, just so when I put that brad down, or the finish nail, it won't split our wood. So what I want to do is make sure that's all lined up, and then just kiss it lightly, okay? So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get the super glue put onto it, and then put the finish nail into it. All right, so we have our super glue, and let's just go ahead and put a little dab right there, and grab our little nail. And let's get this lined up here. Get it just like so. And then we'll grab our hammer, get it in here. So let me grab a punch, and there we go. So our first one's set, and we'll just go ahead and work all the way around and get it all put together. All right, so now we have the back section all done. We went ahead and tacked it in with our nails. Go ahead and flop this guy over, and take our tablet and go ahead and lay on there, okay? So if we rotate this over, kind of give you an idea of what it looks like from the back. So now it looks like we have the back structure of a billboard going on. So now bring this around, and now we got to make our surround around the face of it. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and start addressing the front. So this is where we're going to use that corner molding, or that 90-degree corner molding. And this is the 1/2 inch. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and make almost like a picture frame around this. So remembering that our distance between here was 7¼ inches, I'm going to go ahead and cut this at an angle using a miter box, and my inside length will be 6 inches and 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this one at 6 3/4, and then I will cut my length up here at 9½ on both sides. So when I come back, I'll have this cut at an angle, and we'll start putting together the face. Okay, so I have all 4 of our pieces cut, and went ahead and dressed up the edge with just a little bit of sandpaper, so any type of little fraying or whatnot, just go ahead and clean it up. And what this is going to do is we're going to have this around the front of our tablet, so kind of give a rough idea. So, and then that'll go around there. So now what we need to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some super glue, and I'm going to super glue these joints together. So when we come back, I will have these 4 pieces connected. Okay, so we have this all glued together, and that's drying. So now we're going to come back to the base. And what I've done is I've cut a little bit of our 1/2 inch corner trim, and I've cut the 1/4 by 1/2 inch finish trim as well, the flat. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this right down here at the bottom. And this guy is actually just a little bit of a riser. So when we put our tablet down in here, it has a foot to hold on to. Okay? And how this is going to work, so it's up like that, and it's going to hold it in such an area that we put our outer frame onto it. Let's see here. Get this set. So we get our outer frame, it goes onto it. It lines up down below here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put 2 little hinges right here, so then it opens and closes and we can get our tablet out. So I'm going to go ahead and get these set in here. When we come back, we'll start mounting it up a little bit more. Okay, so I went ahead and we got this mounted down below. All right. Now when I did this originally, I showed you on this side. That's the back side. This is the actual side that the tablet rests on. So it rests right down in here, and then that's the support. So when it's up, it'll actually support onto that. Okay. So now what we need to do now is to go ahead and take our frame and mount our frame up on this. And I have some little hinges. Okay, so these are just, they call them 3/4 inch by 11/16 inch hinges. So just these little tiny hinges. And we're going to take 2 of these guys, and we're going to go ahead and mount them right here. So one there and one over on that side. So then that way we can open up the frame to get our tablet in and out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and mount these hinges. I'll mount them on here and onto the frame. And we come back, we'll go ahead and show that, and then we'll rotate it over and start working on the back side. All right, so we went ahead and I have my 2 hinges down here at the bottom. So now we have our tablet in there. We can go like this and take it out. So next thing we need to do is go ahead and cut some of that 1/4 by 1/2. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go ahead and put this right up on top, right here. Okay, So the reason why we're doing that portion of it is because I have a latch, or what they call a hook and staple, and I'm just going to go ahead and mount this up on top so that I can, then I can lock this up so it doesn't open up when we have it in use. So next thing we're going to do is go ahead and mount this guy just right up here like that, and then we're going to go ahead and put our latch right up on top. Okay, so now we have our cross piece put in, and we have that lock. So opens up, and we can lock it into place. So look, it's not going to come open. So next thing we need to do is to finish this guy off. We got to work from the back and make some legs. So we come back, let's go ahead and let's figure this out. All right, so I have it kind of rigged up right now. Unfortunately, I only have 2 hands, so there's a couple different things you have to do at one time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make our supports off the back, okay? Now, what I've done is I've measured this off at 3 inches. Okay, so let's see here, 3 inches right there. And over here is also at 3 inches. And why I did that is because the area that I'm going to use it at, I can only have my legs, my supports at 3 inches to fit in that area. So what I've done is just gone ahead and put a kickstand onto it with some tape and a little dowel and a little bit of tape to hold it in place. So that works pretty good if you're by yourself and you need an extra set of hands. So being that we're going to go ahead and make some supports, what I've got here is this 3/8 dowel, okay? And what I want to do is to go ahead and mark this right here. And this is kind of an easy way of doing it. Just go ahead and mark it off there on the edge of the table, and then cut that to fit. Another thing is that I want my tablet to set back a little bit. I don't want it to be straight up and down perpendicular. I just want it to be back just a tad so it's a little bit easier to see it and to also work the tablet as well when it's over on the corner. So being that that's back, grab our dowel, set it up right here on the edge, and then go ahead and give it a mark down here at the bottom. And it's better to be a little bit long than it is to be too short. So always try to be a little bit long instead of short, because we can always cut our wood twice or 3 times to get the right shape. But, you know, if we cut it too short, then we can't exactly make it grow. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and I'm also going to come and make one for each one of these. So I'm going to have 4 supports coming down. When we come back, I will have my supports, and then we'll start putting in our cross braces. Okay. All right, so I went ahead and we have our first support cut. I actually have 3 more on the side over here. But what we need to do is go ahead and make our support sections. So what I have here is 1/4 inch round dowel. And what I'm going to do is real rocket science. And all we're going to do is line it up, keeping that 3 inch distance, and just going to go ahead and mark this right there. Okay. So now once you get the one cut, as long as everything is nice and true, it's no issue. You get the one cut, you cut everything else to the same length that you have it, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 4 of these supports. When we come back, we'll take it to the next step. Okay, so we have our support, and we have our cross support. Now, what we need to do is figure out exactly where this guy's going to go. So what I've done, again, is I'm off 3 inches between my down posts, and I have my little cross section here. So what we want to do is go ahead and figure out the angle that we're at. Now we could use a compass and we could figure it out that way, or we can go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. And since this is kind of precarious, let's see here, there we go. You get yourself a Sharpie, and we have our post here. And what we want to do is mark where we're going to have this at. So it's going to be right in that area. So now once I have this marked, and since all my posts are the same, okay, in this area through here is square, I can use this guy as my template, mark everything out, and then go ahead and glue this all together. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this together. When we come back, we'll have all our supports in and all glued up, and then we'll start getting ready for our cross supports. All right, so now that we have this all set and it's dry, now what we need to do is come in and go ahead and put in some more supports. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the 1/4 inch dowel that we put down here and go ahead and cut those and, you know, start placing them around in the back side of this just to kind of complete our structure. Also, between our posts that are going straight up, we can go ahead and take some of that 1/4 inch square dowel and go ahead and do some cross bracing in here and just kind of gingerbread it up and make it look more like an actual structure on the back side. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut some dowels and just kind of keep on going with more of our structure back here. When we come back, we'll have all that done, and then we can go ahead and put our cross supports across our legs. All right, so went ahead and we put in some more structure. I've got some more cross pieces in there, and it just starts filling it up. Put one down here at the bottom just to tie everything together, and just kind of gives it that little extra push that it actually is kind of a billboard. So the last thing that we need to do is go ahead and put some cross supports through here. And what I'm going to use is that 3/8 round dowel. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut it to length. And then I'm going to come in on each one of these and I'm going to V it out just a little bit so that it's going to set in there. So let me go ahead and I will cut this out. When we come back, we'll go ahead and V it out and set it in. Okay, so I went ahead and I'm putting in some supports across here to finish it off. So I have one last one to do. And what you want to do is go ahead and line it up in the area that you're going to do it. And then take a pin and center it right over the top. And just go ahead and put a mark. And we're going to put a mark above each one of the vertical posts. Okay, so you went ahead and you have your marks. Now, you want to go ahead and grab a Dremel, or you could do this with sandpaper or the like. But what we want to do is go ahead and groove this out a little bit so that when it sets in, it actually is formed, you know, formed to the actual doweling. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and sand these off, and we come back, we'll have it all sanded and we'll mount it. All right, so I went ahead and I sanded it all out. So we went ahead and grooved it, and then all we got to do is fit it down in here and then glue it into place. So I have my little handy dandy super glue, and what we'll do is just hit it down here in the gullies a little bit. And then set it on in here. Go ahead and hold it, and there we go. Okay, so we went ahead and we got our supports in, the cross supports, and it's all ready. So next step on this would either be to go ahead and use paint, or what I'm going to use is a Danish oil. It's walnut, so it's going to have a real dark kind of worn look to it. But before we do that, let's see how this thing works. So we put our tablet in and we lock it into place up above. So now it's in there. We can hit that. We're ready to go. So when we come back, go ahead and I'll get my stain on it and we'll be done. All right, so I have it all stained and you can see how that just kind of gives it that kind of old rustic look to it. So if we go and we just do this one last time, we put our tablet into it and then lock it into place. There we go. So, you know, turned out pretty cool. It's just a, I don't know, I think it's a cool way of putting your tablet on your layout versus the wedge. So we'll go ahead and put it in its resting place and we'll wrap this thing up. So let's go down and take a look at it on the layout. And you can see how it sits in the corner right here. Now, I have not mounted this in all the way. And if you look at my previous videos, I go ahead and put like pins at the bottom and then set it into the polystyrene with PVA glue. This one right here, I'm gonna have set here on the edge, but I'm actually gonna make it so I can remove it as well because this is a high traffic area in my garage. But kind of gives you the idea. You can go ahead and put the pins down in here and then set it into place, and you have your tablet for your management system for your layout, and you don't have to use that. So I don't know, I think this is kind of a lot cooler looking than the wedge, so we'll get rid of the wedge. There we go. All right, so if you like this video, like it, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel. And again, we have that little Facebook thing at the top. Click that, come on over to the group. We can share ideas, everything else. It's going really cool. So next time on Boone's Slot Car Garage, yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there. All right, see you guys later.